Hi friends, this is Morgan with Compass Rose Astrology, and today we're going to be doing a pick a card. And this is in anticipation of the upcoming transit when Saturn moves from Aquarius into Pisces on the 7th. And this is a huge transit for everybody. This is a really wonderful move for us because Saturn is finally, after 6 years, moving out of one of its own signs. It was in Capricorn, it was in Aquarius, and now it's going into the Jupiter-ruled sign of Pisces. And this is going to be such a nice sigh of relief instead of having the very strong Saturn themes and symbology of structure, of foundations, really deeply rooted foundations, of having to wait, having to have patience, the really deep kind of look into society and what works is finally shifting, and we're going to have a much more relaxed, kind of more ethereal feel around us while Saturn moves into Pisces. This is a transit that's indicative of kind of the more imaginal, daydreamy, more fun kind of aspect of life. It can often indicate world-changing pieces of literature there that like kind of revolve around world building. There's definitely that Saturn side of world building around it, but with Pisces, it's a lot less serious. It's a lot more exciting and kind of revolves around escapism here. And so we are going to pull some cards to see what this transit has in store for you. I do have 3 different piles here for you to choose from. We have deck 1, deck 2, and deck 3. And on top, I have placed a few gems here for you to kind of hone in on, see which one you resonate with most, and you can choose that deck. And I will put timestamps in the description box below so that you can go straight to that reading for yourself. And here we have a black onyx for deck 1. And then we have black moonstone for group 2. And then we have Caribbean calcite for group 3. So feel free, take some time. This, just think about what resonates with you most here, and I will talk through 2 different decks here. We have the Spellcasters Tarot, and then we have the Fairytale Oracle that I will talk through, kind of tie in the messages at the end of the reading. Okay, I'll give you a couple of moments so you can meditate on these decks and see which one is calling to you most, and I will see you at the reading. Hi, Group 1. This is the reading for the group that picked the black onyx gem and the cards that came with it. So I laid out all the cards that came out with this deck, and we're going to talk through some of the themes that we have going on for you right now, what you might have experienced in the past, and how the universe is trying to tell you how to move forward here. So we did start off, the first 2 cards that came out specifically for this deck are the 4 of Cups and the King of Pentacles. So there's definitely this air of sticking to your own guns here, because there's a lot of fruitfulness here on coming in towards you with the King of Pentacles. There's a lot of abundance and wealth coming towards you. And I feel like there might be the sense of feeling like you might be missing something. It might be that you don't want to lose out on an opportunity, but you have your kind of like nose to the grindstone here, and you're really devoted to your craft and whatever this is. And it's whatever opportunities are coming here for you will not pass you by. And I think that whatever is coming in with this Saturn and Pisces transit is really telling you that kind of sticking to your guns is the right path here for you. Especially because you did get the Fairytale Oracle, the Wild Swans dedication card, and I will read to you from the booklet at the end, but this card really says to me that there's no delusion here. You know that there's something that you have that's really special, and you have a lot of really wonderful qualities about you, Group 1, that might not be appreciated so much by external people, but there's like this really strong perseverance and willpower that you have that you might like like what I'm getting here is that you might be like look really like kind of like soft and like just very gentle, but there's just this really strong core to you that others might not be able to perceive right away, and that's just a very strong part of who you are, though. It's really guided you well through life, and it's now you're coming to a point where your perseverance and your own self-confidence, even though you might not be the most confident person in all areas of your life, but in terms of this one skill or trade, I'm seeing you are one of a kind and you have something really beautiful to offer the world. And it's just this sense, I feel like in the past couple of years, you've kind of had to, like, maybe it felt like there wasn't any movement going forward on this path or on this project that you were working on, because I really do feel like this, especially with the Pentacles and the Cup, this is something that you're like really speaks to you, to your soul, your creativity. It's something that's very unique to you too. I feel like this is something that not a lot of people do, and maybe not a lot of people have respect for, but this is definitely something that you can prove is a worthwhile path for you. And yeah, I feel like in the paths we have Strength, Eight of Swords, and the Death card. So you had two major arcanas here for you while Saturn was going through the Saturn signs. And it's, wow, this is fascinating. This is actually really beautiful, Group 1. So we have Eight of Swords stuck in the middle between these two major arcana cards. So I really feel like you felt completely bound. Wow, this is really nice. You felt very like there wasn't many options for you. I lied. Let me put that into a different perspective. I feel like there were options for you, but none of them appealed to you and none of them actually played to your strengths. Possibly there were other people in your life that were trying to guide you to make certain decisions because they believed that certain opportunities would be more fruitful for you, would maybe provide more stability for you. But here you are, like, these are not kind of coming off to me with the scary vibes that the kind of comes through on this artwork. There was just, I feel like your decision to kind of really stick by your strengths and your kind of heart and soul calling has created like these monumental shifts, not just like in your life, but also kind of in your legacy is what I'm seeing. Not just your legacy, but also in like your ancestry, your family, your past, and your family coming forward. Like you're paving the way for things in your life to not only be good for you, but also to allow other people to have the freedom and the opportunity to move forward with something that they also believe in just as strongly as you do. For example, like maybe you're an artist, and I'm just saying this because we have the Four of Cups, so it could be something that really speaks to your emotions and helps you like express your emotions, basically. And it also could be something kind of transformational, because if I remember correctly, this swan story is about brothers that got turned into swans. And so maybe there's something that you transform something with your hands, or you transform, maybe do like story rewritings, like retellings. It's like transforming something is what I'm getting. Also with this death card, that there's, and with the strength card, because we have like the merging of two different, completely different archetypes and coming into one and becoming something even better. That you want to pursue in your life, and it's allowing other people to have the strength and the kind of willpower that they might have been lacking on their own without seeing that someone else could do this. You're really paving the way here, and I feel like in the past it was a lot of you having to have faith in yourself, and also trying to prove people wrong of their assumptions of whatever path this was or whatever decision this was, because maybe they were afraid that it wouldn't be fruitful for you, and you're now being able to show that it is fruitful, it is worthwhile, and it could be even more fruitful than what they wanted for you. And here we have Spirit's advice for you. We have coming up what you're going to experience with Saturn and Pisces. We have the Seven of Cups, we have the Hierophant, and the Temperance cards. So we have another set of major arcanas. So this is a really incredibly powerful time for you, Group 1. This is really exciting, actually. And what I'm getting here is that, especially with the Seven of Cups here, you're going to be presented with a lot of opportunities coming up in this space of the next 3 years. And I think a big topic for you here is going to be you're going to have to choose some opportunities and make the judgment call, basically, on if they align with your, I want to say business plan, but like, I feel like there are going to be some opportunities that come up, and some of them will maybe like look really pretty on the surface, but won't really be aligned with you. And they might cause a little disconnect between you and your business. Like maybe it'll make you feel kind of disjointed for taking something that doesn't reflect the ideals and ideology that you agree with. But this is saying that if you do continue on with this steadfastness that you've already put in, and that you have shown to have this really strong ability to persevere, if you do that, then what you put out will come back to you tenfold, especially with this Temperance card. This is the card about what you put out, you get back. And if you stay true to yourself, true to your ideals, true to what really started this whole thing for, you will reap the benefits, and it will really lead you into a place, I think, because you're going to have a lot of eyes on you, Group 1. You'll have people watching you and kind of seeing that you are successful and you can do what you want to do. But if there's some sort of compromise of beliefs here for you, other people will see that, and it could be a little, it could shake your own foundations a little bit, but there's always a way to persevere through moments like that as well. So even if it is a growing and learning kind of experience for you, it won't end up necessarily bad, but just telling you to make sure you stick true to the things that you believe and stay true to your faith for yourself and for what you're doing. This is awesome. That's really incredible, Deck 1. What a beautiful, beautiful read. So let me go ahead and get this this book so I can read to you what the Wild Swans card means to kind of wrap up this message for you. Okay, let me see. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, so here we have the Wild Swans dedication. So let's start. All the people came flocking out at the town gate, for they wanted to see the witch burned. An old horse drew the cart on which she sat. They had put upon her a garment of coarse sackcloth. Her lovely hair hung loose about her beautiful head. Her cheeks were as pale as death, and her lips moved silently, while her fingers were engaged with the green flax. Even on the way to death, she did not interrupt the work she had begun. The 10 shirts of mail lay at her feet, and she wrought at the 11th. The fairy who came out to meet her was fair and shining, yet she closely resembled the old woman who gave her the berries in the forest and told her of the swans who wore golden crowns on their heads. Your brothers can be set free, she said, but have you the courage and tenacity to do it? The seawater that changes the shape of rough stones is indeed softer than your delicate hands, but it cannot feel the pain that your fingers will feel. It has no heart, so it cannot suffer the anguish and heartache that you will have to endure. Do you see the stinging nettle in my hand? Many such nettles grow around the cave where you sleep. Only those, and the ones that grow upon graves in the churchyards, may be used. Remember that. Those you must gather, although they will burn your hands to blisters. Crush the nettles with your feet, and you will have flax, which you must spin and weave into 11 shirts of mail with long sleeves. Once you throw these over the 11 wild swans, the spell over them is broken. But keep this well in mind. From the moment you undertake this task until it is done, even though it lasts for years, you must not speak. The first word you say will strike your brother's heart like a deadly knife. Their lives are at the mercy of your tongue. Now, remember what I told you. She touched Eliza's hands with nettles that burned like fire and awakened her. This is a tale of suffering in order to save family or people we care for from a fate that is not their choosing. It is a tale of sacrifice, and of sacrifice that must be done without recognition for a long time. In this tale, a young woman's brothers are enchanted into the form of swans, and she is told that there is only one way to free them, and that is through the spinning of magical cloaks made from flax of stinging nettles. Not a word can be spoken during this task, so for years, this young woman has hands that are disfigured from the burning and the pain, feet that can barely tread upon the earth, and she must do all in silence. Her dedication to this bizarre task and her silence in the face of demands for explanations creates mistrust all around her. But the truth is, she cannot speak. She must keep to her task, for she has dedicated herself to saving her brothers. This is the madness of doctors, scientists, those who discover ways of healing and helping that seem bizarre and strange, incomprehensible to others. So this is the message of the card, to know that when we see people who are ferociously dedicated to a task or a mission, their single-mindedness may seem madness, and in some ways it is. But if this energy is put to great purpose, it can bring about great healing and change. The message could be that you must allow this and not judge this. And the message could also be that your own dedication may be perceived as madness and even create hostility within the hearts of others. But it will result in healing, creativity, and great breakthroughs, just as Eliza's work, painful and bizarre as it seemed, saved her brothers from the enchantment. This is so beautiful, Group 1. This is perfect. I feel like it completely relates to everything that we said here in these cards. And this really, really paints the picture that your passion is the right path. It's the right dedication. And what you create is basically magic for others, even though it will take a long time for you to get through this. Well, at least you got through this past Saturn transit, and going into this new one, you might see this kind of change of energies, and some actual perseverance will help see you through to the end. This is great. Deck 1, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! Hi, Group 2. So this is going to be the reading for the people that chose the Black Moonstone, which matches my nail color, actually. It's kind of funny. But I just finished putting out your cards. I shuffled and got the primary cards for what you are going through right now, the experiences of the last 6 years while Saturn was transiting Saturn-ruled houses, and then the upcoming experience of what you can anticipate through Saturn and Pisces. And I was actually called to look at the bottom of the deck for you. We have the Fool. So I really, really think that this is going to be a huge monumental shift for you. And I think you're going to be experiencing completely new things in the next 3 years. And it's going to be like wiping your hands of whatever you've experienced in the past and a whole new chapter in your life. It's going to be feel very separate. I feel like at the end of the next 3 years, you're going to look back at this time, like right now, and say, I completely don't, like, that person was such a different person than who I am, and it's like shedding a skin and just coming out as like a butterfly in a whole new area of your life. So I don't know if you're going through like a Saturn return or went through a Saturn return in the last 6 years, which can be like one of the most like traumatic experiences in my book. Also having like a Saturn transit over your moon, I really feel like this is something that you could have been going through group 2. This can usually indicate some an experience of not just hitting rock bottom, but also going through kind of like a deep darkness of the soul, kind of getting lost and not understanding why, and not being able to see a way out, and not being able to fix anything. It's very kind of like a lost, stuck feeling. But the really great news here is that you're completely starting over, and there's nothing but newness and excitement and change in the future here for you. And I think that when you go through rough transits like that, it often can make you feel like, well, you know what, I have nothing else to lose. You know, I'd rather just move forward. And I'm not going to worry and not be afraid because I've already gone through so much recently. And that's very indicative of the Fool card. There's kind of like this lack of, there's like this carefreeness here. And I think you're also kind of focused right now on trying to either get to a new level in a relationship or find your person. So if you're committed, if you are in a committed relationship, I feel like this transit from Saturn into Pisces is going to really bring you to a whole new level together, because you have gone through so much together, and I feel like you've already proven to each other basically that you are each other's rocks after everything that's happened. And if not, if you are on the look for another person, and the reason I say this is because this is a 4 of Wands card. This is finding your perfect partner. This is really leveling up and finding someone that is on the same page as you, reading the same book as you, the same timeline as you, and really loves you and cares for you in a way that maybe you never anticipated or expected someone to love you. And they show you that they love you and that they adore you and that you mean as much to them as they mean to you. And I really feel like there's been this, so the Oracle card you got here is the Puss in Boots card, and it says wit at the bottom. But what I'm really getting from this is that perhaps like in the past, you felt very misunderstood and that nobody really could connect with you in a way that you hoped, but you still really put yourself out there and cared for the people around you and really went out of your way to make sure other people were happy, whether this was is someone that you're with or someone that you are not with anymore. You might be a hard person to read, but your person will be able to read you, basically. And that's kind of what you're looking for. You want someone to be able to kind of meet you halfway on that level, right? And in the past, in this in the Saturn, going through the Saturn signs, we have the Page of Cups, the 10 of Swords, and the 8 of Swords. So what this means to me is that perhaps you were involved with other people, but they never could meet you on your emotional, they could never provide the emotional support that you needed. And I say this because the Page of Cups, it's very strong in terms of any sort of emotion. But as you can see here on the card, it's not a very compassionate card. And it's not very, it can be a selfish card. And so I feel like that's what you've come to experience in the past from people around you. And it has led to a lot of heartache, a lot of loss and grief, and perhaps that's what you went through in the last 6 years. There was just this really monumental ending for you that really made you feel isolated. And perhaps that also contributed a lot to these feelings of there being a lack of connection. That perhaps even if you were in a relationship, you just felt really isolated, alone, and unseen. And if you had to go through a few endings in order to be able to see that you were worth more than the relationships that were being presented to you, because you're worth more than someone keeping a cup for themselves, right? Like, they weren't offering you what you needed, and like the thing is, I am getting that you're like a very full kind of good person, and you've been through a lot in your life, and I think you are very emotionally mature. And perhaps at times you were like wondering if like maybe you were asking for too much, or you kind of felt like you were being too much, because all these people like couldn't meet you at your level, and it made you kind of doubt yourself. But now that you've gone through this like wild, long Saturn transit of kind of experiencing loss and disappointment, and possibly even like losing a lot of friends because of some of these lost connections, you've come to realize that you either want something that matches you or you want nothing at all. And it kind of like led you into feeling kind of isolated, but not in the worst way. I do feel like you have a lot of strength about you, group 2, and it really comes through when you interact with other people. And actually, that could go back to this Puss in Boots card, in that maybe people didn't realize just how hurt you were over the things that you've experienced in the past, and people kind of just expected you to move on, and you put on that face and you did move on, but it really stayed with you, and it's really affected a lot of your decisions in terms of relationships with other people. But you're not entirely... you haven't entirely led on to just how hurt you were, basically. But this is what is coming in for you. So if you are in a relationship and you kind of went through this like lost feeling of having like a lost soul, or like a dark night of the soul, you're either coming to terms with realizing that this person really has your interests at heart, and they've kind of been through everything with you, or you are going to find a person that really wants to know you, basically. There's no facade here, and they will ask questions. They want to get to know this person that you are. They will support you, and they want to see you through every age. They want to go through this crazy journey of life together. And I think that having here this strength card is that you guys will complement each other as well. And perhaps, I'm honestly getting that you're like, you can kind of come off it more as a lion, as a very stoic person, someone that's more in tune with themselves and doesn't let other people kind of dictate their own life. And this person is really going to complement you and kind of bring you out of your shell, and allow you to kind of perceive the world a little bit differently. And it's going to be a true like power couple match made in heaven here. And it could also really help you build a very, very strong foundation for the future. And especially with the Ace of Pentacles. So whoever this is coming up into your life in the next 3 years, they see you and they want to experience things with you, and they want to meet you halfway, and they want to give you what you need, and they can give you what you need, because we have this great balance between emotions and physical kind of existence and support here. And it can also lead to a true monetary gain as well, in terms of possibly building a career or some sort of strong future together. And a lot of abundance, a lot of luck here too, and a lot of opportunities to build something really, really fun and wonderful. That's fun. Awesome. Group 2, that's great. All right, so let me just get this booklet here. I'm going to read to you this card so that we can kind of tie this message back together. So, as I said, you got the Puss in Boots card from the Oracle Fairytale deck, and let's see. So, this is the famous tale of seemingly insignificant friendships and gifts bringing us great blessings. For Puss is the only inheritance our young hero receives from his father, while his brothers seem to receive so much more. But in truth, this inheritance is everything his brothers received and so much more. For this cat is determined to use his considerable intelligence and charm to raise the boy up to the status of a prince, literally a rags to riches story, and all the boy must do as the animal tells him. In many ways, this tale is morally ambiguous. Puss does lie and trick and deceive and flatter his way upwards. However, he also saves the life of his master so many times, and so to me, this tale suggests a deeper relationship, and that this clever cat who wears boots and speaks and thinks faster than anyone else is truly this boy's guide. Everything the boy gains is due to Puss, and the tale never suggests there is any reparation to be made for the use of wits, rather than work in the gaining of status, esteem, and treasure. So if you have received this card, please look around you for the blessings you have been given. They may seem extraordinarily humble. Who inherits a cat? But what if the cat is wisest and most clever being of all? The tale also suggests that we respect the wisdom of the natural world, which has no compunction about using wit, camouflage, and hunting skills to live and prosper. Nature does not judge the hunter or say the butterfly is deceitful because it resembles a flower and thus is protected. Look about you for the clues and cues from nature, and most especially any animals that are particularly drawn to or close to. They are your allies, and their messages can lead you to great achievements. This is an amoral story, and it's sometimes judged as unworthy for being so, but its amorality is valuable. It makes us question, what would I do to rise, to do well? What are the politics of status in the world? Does Puss simply know how the world works, and he's gifting all his knowledge and wile to the boy without any thought of payment? For it seems that Puss delights in this use and exercise of his intellect. And when is wit and politics worth drawing upon? For Puss is a great diplomat, a wily lifesaver, a creature of two worlds whose charm is put to immense use and whose loyalty is unquestionable. And if this card has come to you, in the very simplest of terms, it is time to use some cunning, some true genius, and to have your wits about you and seek opportunities out rather than await them to come to you. And this is truly indicative of a journey into a new life here for you, Group 2. I think that you've been through a lot and you are ready to move into this whole new phase of your life, and there's a lot of great qualities around you too, Group 2. And I think that really shows here in the Puss in Boots card and in the Strength card, because I was just thinking while I was reading that we have two cats here. So you are a very smart, very intuitive person, and I really think that it's the cards are telling you to make sure you also dig into your intuition, because that will guide you exactly where you need to go. Okay, Group 2, whoops. I hope this reading connected with you and that you found something that resonated here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome Group 3. This is the reading for the group who chose the Caribbean Calcite. And we're going to start off by talking through the tarot, and I also have this beautiful oracle card for you. We have the Sleeping Beauty Awakening card, and that was paired with these two cards of what you're currently going through, and then we have what you went through in the Saturn transits through the Saturn ruled signs, and then we have what you have coming to expect in the Saturn and Pisces transit over the next 3 years. So first, we'll start off by talking through the Wheel of Fortune and the Eight of Pentacles. So you're definitely in a transitional moment and period of time right now. I feel like you've been kind of stuck in this really kind of place in your life where you feel like lackluster. Maybe your work feels super ambiguous and you're not entirely sure if it's so mostly this reading I'm getting a lot of like kind of career and work oriented, but it could also be like hobbies. It could be something that you do like on the side. I'm honestly getting kind of like not like possibly entrepreneurial energies here. But basically, I feel like there's that you've taken on a lot of work and it feels really uneven, and like what you put out, you don't entirely get back in. And you feel like you've been toiling for a very, very long time. And the Wheel of Fortune is here telling us that like this period of your life is shifting completely. And the Wheel of Fortune does indicate that everything changes. Like, we can't keep the good times forever. We won't have the bad times forever. But whatever period of just like feeling disconnected and possibly unappreciated, maybe feeling like a lack of abundance, like you might be struggling to make ends meet, or that you always have to be living paycheck to paycheck. There's just this sense of kind of living life without knowing that there's some security. There's not a lot of stability here for you. But the period that we're going through right now is going to bring a lot of security for you coming up. I think what's led to this feeling through these, the last 6 years, the Saturn transits and the Saturn ruled signs, is that you went through a really, I feel like it was actually a change, like your mind changed. And it was due to external factors of how you feel towards your work and towards your output. And perhaps you've been forced to kind of like, or you're being forced to make some decisions about how you want to build your career, actually. And, you know what I'm getting? Wow, with the Four of Swords, this is often the card of rest and waiting. But with the Tower and the Six of Cups, I really feel like you recently had, or over the last couple of years, you realized that there was a dream that you had when you were growing up that you wanted to pursue. And maybe now you're wondering if it's something worth actually pursuing, if it's something that will bring you happiness and abundance and kind of fulfillment that you're looking for. But because what you're currently doing really doesn't have any stability anyway, and you're wondering if maybe this is the right path to choose, because both are kind of have some unknowns there. And this could have like come to you in a dream too, because we do have the Tower card. In traditional decks, it's the Tower card is being struck by lightning, and this is being struck by 3 strikes of lightning. And they can often indicate getting kind of like a thought or getting a spark of an idea, basically. And I'm wondering if maybe that was something that came through in a dream, possibly, or it's a thought that you often find comfort in when you're kind of feel like your back's up against the wall and things that you don't want to do, or find yourself obligated to do. And this could definitely be something that possibly it's run in your family of things that you want to do. I don't know why. I'm getting a lot of like animals here. So, and I think it's because in the Eight of Pentacles we have like a dog, and I think it's a little mouse or something. Oh, it's a squirrel. That are being protected here. So possibly this could be something where you feel drawn to, like, it could be animals, possibly, of like protecting animals, especially with the Four of Swords with the four wolves. Or you might find a lot of symbology in the animals around you that might be kind of guiding you on your path to thinking maybe this is the right dream to pursue, basically. And this has probably just been something that you've been mulling around and kind of considering, but in this transition from Saturn going into Pisces, you're definitely going to have a lot more action here. I feel like you're definitely going to have to make a choice. So this is wild, but like the Eight of Swords has come up for each group, each deck here. And I think what that indicates is that there's a lot of self-imposed restrictions here that Saturn in Pisces is going to help us shrug off. And it could be out of, these restrictions could be born out of fear. It could be out of not wanting to fail. Hey, sorry about that. My camera heated, so overheated. So I'm going to try to get through this quickly without it happening again. But basically what I was saying is that a lot of people make decisions or choose to not pursue things based out of fear or fear of failure. And what I have here is when Saturn goes into Pisces, you're going to have a complete and utter rebirth in regards to those fears that you might have had. I feel like instead of being afraid of failure, you're instead going to be working towards a really abundant, fruitful future, and you will have the patience that you need to really see through this beautiful shift, this beautiful dream that you have. And especially with a Judgment card, this is an absolute leveling up for you. This is a shift in your consciousness that no matter what that you do, everything's going to be okay. And this is the fresh start that you need to see through this next phase in your life. And it's a total shift and a total regeneration of your own kind of psyche in addition to your actions. And I am going to finish off your reading by talking through the Sleeping Beauty Awakening card to kind of tie in your whole message here for you. And so in the booklet, it says, when the child is 16, she will prick her finger upon a spindle and die. The king and queen cried out and begged the fairy to forgive them and remove the curse, but the fairy refused to do so. But one fairy stepped forward and said, I cannot undo this curse, but I can alter its course. Beauty shall not die when she touches the spindle, but she will fall into a deep sleep for 100 years. It is right in this tale that the family of Sleeping Beauty decide they will fall into the same enchanted sleep along with their daughter, a princess who is cursed by a fairy with a grudge. When the Princess Aurora is born, her parents invite the chief magical beings of the kingdom to offer them all a rare gift. They are genuinely overjoyed at the birth of this child who had been longed for far before she was born. But there is one fairy they do not invite, and in some versions of the tale this is deliberate, and others it's a hindsight, and others still the reason is that they have not enough wealth to share with the being now known as Maleficent. While the offended fairy's payback to the family slight is to curse Aurora to die when she pricks her finger upon a needle from a spinning wheel, a late arriving fairy can soften the blow with her blessing, that Aurora will simply fall into a deep sleep which she can only be awakened from by the kiss of a lover whose heart is true. Instead of raising Aurora with this knowledge, the family endanger her even more by keeping the prophecy from her, and it is this ignorance that most endangers her and which gives the curse its opportunity to take hold. When this card comes to you, you will learn that someone has tried to protect you from a harsh truth by keeping information that's vital from you. There is no escape from the dilemma you inherited, but you will be able in time to find a way through the challenge, and you will not be alone, and you will never be abandoned. You will be awakened to the truth, and when you wake up, so will all the others around you who wish to protect you, but in truth only made you more vulnerable. So this card is definitely saying you are incredibly protected. Even the Wheel of Fortune is saying that the spirit is protecting you and then you're guided by the universe. And this, I think goes hand in hand with your Judgment card, saying that there's going to be a complete awakening here for you that will allow you to move forward and start something fresh just for you, basically. So group 3, I hope you like this reading, and I really look forward to hearing what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.